want to have a fair bit of pattern, but I don't want to have too much blank spot. Even though like the bunny will be going here, but this will be empty looking, you know? And I would, it's.
Oh, okay.
And that's just what I'm thinking, like, I'd like to, yeah, I think I'm gonna pull it up like this. And then the cuff is here, and depending which one we use to be on top of the other guy, this will be left visible. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going for this way. So I just need to take that off. And now we're gonna go back and start this video all over again. Are we ready to roll, or do we have to do it all again?
I should be able to go. Oh, you know what? We were rolling, I think.
Okay. I'm going to take and apply a generous coat. Don't be cheap with this. And when I do this, I just put that on. Doesn't matter if it drips over my edges. I don't really care about that. I have checked out ahead of time to make sure I had the right side of my tissue. And actually that's right where I'd like it. And so I laid it down and put it over top of a piece of white paper to check that, and flip it to see both sides. Whichever side shows brighter to you, the pattern, that's your right side. So right now what I'm doing is I'm using this to smooth, push the glue around, make sure I have no wrinkles, and this is adhering my piece to the surface. So I'm going to lift it up so that the tissue isn't pressing more on. So I will trim this around. So I'm going to trim it around and take the excess off, but I'm not trimming right up tight to my piece right now. We'll leave it like that for now, because that part we really want to bond well. The other is going to bond just as good, but this always seems to be sketchy at the edges, so we want to leave that sit there, and you can use scissors to trim it afterwards, or a piece of nail file or sandpaper, nice fine paper. We use the sanding blocks, and just go from the edge down, and it trims it off absolutely beautiful. So that's how we're going to put it on. Now I also have, for extra security, we can put a plastic bag over top of our piece, and we use you can use the brayer roller, just with a piece of plastic over top, just so you don't get the glue all over your roller and you forget to go wash it off. But yeah, so you can just roll over top of this. So I can put that down, and I can just roll over top, and that secures it down. I would put a piece of tissue, that plastic that covers the entire piece, if I was prepared to do that and show this, but we know how that works. So anyways, here's the roller if you like to use that, especially for bigger pieces. That's really nice. Anyway, okay, so that's how we're going to apply this. I'm going to go and dry it now, and then we'll be ready to transfer our pattern on. Okay, I'm backtracking here. First, I'm going to apply another coat of my matte Mod Podge, and I do like it to be matte. We want to have a dull finish, not a glossy finish for this. So it is matte, and I'm going to apply another coat. We used to dry it and apply it, and now we don't anymore. We just apply that second coat. So what this coat is doing is bonding the glue that's on the bottom to right through to the tissue. So we have a nice coat of both, and then again I will just nicely make sure I go right to my edges, and I'm going to dry it. I always kind of tip my head to the side too to make sure that I haven't got any dry patches. Depends where you are, but here in the shop our light has quite the glare on it, so we want to make sure that we're getting a nice generous coat. Now I will dry it. And then you can use, after you dry it, if it feels bumpy like sandpaper, use a piece of tracing paper and lightly sand over top of it and smooth it down. And away we go, just like you would with a fine piece of wood. All right, and then transfer your pattern. Remember, if your tissue's dark, you're going to use light transfer. If your tissue is light, like this one, you might use the dark transfer. It would show up better for you. All right, that's our mission. I'm going to take burnt umber on my dry brush, and I'm going to come in here along my outer edge and dry brush burnt umber. I'm going to do it on both. I flipped my brush over to get burnt umber off the other side, so I will do it on both rabbits. Not sure, does it show in color? It does fade down, so you'll look at it after and think, oh, I don't know if I see anything, but it does show up more when we varnish as well. But it's just to give the whole the look of dimension. So I've done that, and now I'm going to take and I'm going to shade inside the hole. So I'm going to take my black brown and shade next to my bunny. Now, I didn't take special care when I base coated my bunny because I know I was going to be getting on it. So I'm just going to take and nice and softly walk it out.
Put her name on the list for one of those.
And
What are you going to call them? The scissor holder or the no?
and we'll just walk our way around. So I'll do this on both, walk it out. This again is giving us depth. When I go to base coat my bunny, I'll transfer my edges back on again so that I know where he's nice and crisp and sharp. But right now, it's just easier to get your float on here without having to worry about going around the bunny so closely. So that's why we do it in separate steps. In my pictures, sometimes on the video, I've got it on there, or in the pattern pack, it'll have it already on there when I'm shading this, but it's easier without it. Alrighty, thank you. So I add a little bit of water to thin my paint, and I'm using my script liner. And so we're gonna come through and we're gonna twist in twigs that so some will be twisted in, the odd one you can just bring right out. I can come up here at this point and add the branches for my pine boughs. And of course you can do whichever you'd like with them. I'm not concerned about getting on my bunny, same as I said with the base coating. So we just twist our vines through. I mean, they don't all have to look like a braided wreath. Now, I've picked up cocoa on my dirty brush so that it's going to kind of streak the two colors together, the burnt umber and the cocoa, and you go through while they're still wet. It's not intending to cover all the other guys, but it's just wipes through them, gets the two colors going, and we can twist these vines. You can have them coming through the bottom. You're going to have the clumps of snow there anyways.
Is this a wreath?
This is a twigs that are, he's in the hole in the ground. And
okay.
he's peeping out.
Okay.
And so or his den or whatever they call those.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the same with a bit of burlap. Just a little bit, come through, dirty brush. So you're not going to necessarily see full strength burlap everywhere. You're going to have like bits here and there. I can even get into bittersweet on this one. This is a lighter tissue. So the bittersweet, if I bring that in here, that'll help in strength for this one.
Use the bittersweet.
Yours won't really show with
No,
the
it's too
bittersweet
dark.
on the other tissue. So it all depends on what our background is. These mittens could have been stained as well and just left stained if you wanted. So, you know, everything would be different in strength of colors that you're going, but it's pretty much the same color. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead. I think I'll put a bit of a branch here too. So These are my branches that my pine needles will go on. Okay. So we're going to start with our needles. I've drawn a few lines, just a couple random ones to help guide to how long I want them to be. We're not concerned about our snow clumps. We'll go through them. We can still see them. They'll be visible for sure. So I'm going to come. Everybody's look different. That's the thing about needles. I can turn them so that, like, see how I can pull a few that are curved, or I can tend to keep them straight. I still like to see little bits of my branch through. So now I'm going to, I dip my brush again in water. I pick up plantation pine, dirty brush. I come through, and we're going to go with that. And because everything's still wet, plantation's dragged through my black green, it becomes a different color again. Same thing, I'll pick up, and each time I'm adding less and less. So I picked up lush green, and then I'm going to go into avocado toast. And that would be the absolute least color we put in. So that's our branches. I'll carry on and I'll do all of the branches as they are seen in our picture. You can have more, you can have less. This again is on a lighter background, so it's going to have a different look. Yours on the darker background, the darker tissue that we've been using is going to be a little richer looking and really deep in tone. You won't see as much. When you put the black green on, you're going to say, is
It
black
doesn't
green
show.
there? But it's
Yeah.
going to make a difference. All right?
Okay, black green plantation